And we are live on the Culture Cast, episode 10. Tubbs, how are we getting on, buddy?
Good man, we're double digits tonight, man.
Episode 10, yeah. So we've been doing this for like 10 weeks. How crazy is that?
It's come here. Look, as I even said to you before, if we could do 45 fucking weeks, 45 weeks plus of retro wrestle chat, this is this is
We
this is
could be
this is
here a while.
this is a new beast that we're gonna fucking conquer.
So, like, originally our plans were for this week was to talk about Mortal Kombat, but unfortunately, like, it's been tough to get our hands on Mortal Kombat because it hasn't actually released in the UK. So we're going to do that next week once we figure that out. In other news, though, speaking of movie news, something we didn't mention last week. Tubbs, you are the star of a movie which premiered last night on Twitch.
One half of a starring combo, yeah.
Well, the other half isn't here, so we'll just talk about you. So
Yeah.
the spotlight is yours for tonight.
Yeah.
So yeah, in Memoriam played last night on Twitch live on Let's Survive Paddy Plays Twitch channel. It's a movie you shot just before COVID hit, if I'm right.
It was the December before. It was the very end of 2019, and then the pandemic hit literally 2 or 3 months later.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about. Well, I know you can't tell us everything about the movie, but just fill us in on like what our viewers should expect when we get our hands on this in the future.
It's a found footage movie. It is. I genuinely don't know what to say without spoiling it, but I have it on good authority that I'm allowed to spoil whatever I like from now on. I'm joking, I'm not. But, no, it's as I said, it's a found footage movie about a girl suffering from loss that talks to this guy that claims to be not a medium, but he can channeling the dead and stuff. So they go off on this house and try and see what they can conjure up and so on. And it gets a bit batshit and crazy, and it's a good suspenseful fucking flick, and I'm in it, and Aoife Mead's in it, and it's directed by Paddy Murphy. So yeah, it's a good time. If you didn't see it last night anyway, you know what I mean? Obviously there'll be details coming out going forward, but yeah, it's well worth checking out. The trailer's up on the Celtic Badger Media website as well.
So yeah, guys, hit
that website, sorry, YouTube channel.
YouTube. So hit Celtic Badger Media on that search bar on YouTube, and you will find the trailer for In Memoriam. And also on Celtic Badger Media, you will find a lot of us in our past doing movies and stuff together too.
Who are my screen wife after all.
Yeah, if you care to search for that kind of stuff. So I want to start first off. Damien is our first comment. He said, "Evening all, heads up, Brian and Tubbs. I spy my little eye something in Falcon the Winter Soldier episode 6 that could be revealed, that could be linked to be revealed later. So we will get onto that soon. But there has been a lot of news this week. And
yes.
I think we'll give you the floor for the first one. So Michael Keaton, Tubbs, has finally been confirmed to be playing Batman in The Flash.
They even posted on their official Instagram, I think it was Instagram, the front of the original Batmobile from the 89 movie. Yeah, man, this gets me so hyped. I know there's a lot of people going like, oh, this is fucking stupid. They're putting too much into it. And I say it every week on the show, guys. I have to say one thing before I go on, though. I've noticed on screen that like my here, and here is like red. I got sunburned like a motherfucker the last 2 days, all right? And now I'm like reaping the benefits of it, big burnt fucking tomato face.
I love that Tubbs is blowing off DC to talk about his sunburn, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
This makes me hard. Like.
It's not even that, man. It's the ADHD king. Do you know what I mean? I'm talking about one thing and a flight passes the screen and I'm gone this way. But it's all good. It's all good. Yeah, getting back to Michael Keaton. Yeah, Michael Keaton is officially confirmed, which is great news, man, because there were so many like up and down rumors for the last few weeks. Like, was he going to actually be there? Were they going to have to get one of the older Batman to kind of take his place and so on? I'm delighted.
Yeah, let the DC clusterfuck begin.
Well, not even that, but you know me. Like, I know this isn't. I know they're not doing like like a fucking page for page fucking complete
Yeah,
live action Flashpoint, but
yeah,
it is going to be a live action version of Flashpoint. And sorry, I'm going to go this way. Flashpoint is one of my favorite graphic novels. It's one of
yeah.
my favorite Flash stories. And just to see this, I mean, this is probably going to be batshit, like, I
See what you did there, batshit.
um,
Get out, Tubbs.
I really, really do. I mean, I'm a simple man with simple needs. All I really want is Ben Affleck and Michael Keaton on screen at the same time. I really just want,
Yeah.
for me, Brian, it's the little things. It's the little things that they give me. You know what I mean? It's like why Man of Steel worked for me. It's why Batman versus Superman worked for me. And Zack Snyder's Justice League worked for me, not the other fucking Frankenstein's monster. But but it's elements in there that, like, do you know what I mean? I'm like, oh, that's like Dark Knight Returns. Oh, that's Dead of Superman. Oh, this is fucking Flashpoint. It doesn't take much to get me, nostalgic in the feels. And I don't hit these movies from, like, nostalgia before people kind of in the comments go, oh, well, you only like them because of nostalgia. It's not that at all. It's what I do like when things, it's like watching Marvel, you see characters and you see certain things from comics you
Mm.
grew up watching. And that's why we fucking love this stuff, man, because we're fucking big, massive nerds that took over the fucking world. A big fucking smile on our face. But it is that. And so I'm super jazzed for Michael Keaton to be attached to this. Now, I'm obviously, you got to talk about the suit. Are they going to go with the 89 suit? Obviously,
They
because
have to bring in the original suit.
I mean, I think it will be the original suit, but I reckon it will be modified or it will be changed slightly because it's been
Because Michael Keaton has gotten fat.
not even fat, dude.
I
He's
know,
gotten
I'm joking.
older,
He'll be
but
older, yeah.
he's older. So obviously, in his timeline, you know, suits would have been wrecked and destroyed while fighting villains and so on. So he might have a more upgraded version of that suit. As long as it still resembles the original, I'll be happy as fuck.
And Damien says, speaking about Batman, can you believe next year will be the 30th anniversary of Batman Returns? Still my favorite. I do hope a 30th anniversary or re-release at cinemas could be a possibility. A cast reunion, perhaps.
Oh man, do you know something? It is hard to believe that Batman Returns is 30 years old, but at the same
Fucking great
time,
movie, man.
the magic about it is, and obviously when this came out, and years ago, I never thought this because I love it. I think it was so fucking cool. But they were very. I mean, it was very much the film that, like, took Tim Burton out of the running because the studio thought it was too dark, and it was like, oh, this is way too dark. Man, I fucking loved it because it was dark.
Yeah, I watched it. I watched it about 5-6 months ago, and it still holds up. It's fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, we forget this, kids. Batman isn't the let's go drink a cup of coffee and go, like, he's a dark fucking depressed fucking sociopath, at his core. He does it for the right reasons. Does he? But or selfish reasons, whatever, but there's a darkness to his core. You know what I mean? And his story and his entire world, which is why I think a lot of people gravitated towards Batman, was because it is that darker, grittier, like hero.
Yeah.
In a nutshell, like, fuck
So
off,
like,
you Zelda controlled.
so Damien says 92 or 89 suit, any can do, Tubbs. Yeah, I agree there.
What was
Either
that?
or. The 92 or the 1989 suit, either will do. So
Oh yeah,
yeah,
either one from the original Tim Burton. You know what I mean? But as I said, but even if it's modified and it's slightly different or whatever, I do think you're still going to get that whole, the head, the cowl that comes down over the shoulders, and that rubbery feel to the suit. I mean, as long as that's there, man, and the symbol, the yellow and black symbols in the middle of the chest, you can change bits and pieces and throw it on him. If he even has battle armor on it, who cares? If it resembles enough of the original Bruce Wayne and the original Batman from the Tim Burton universe, and it'd be awesome. Like, but I did hear, I don't know if I spoke with this last week about the CW involvement.
Oh God, I hope not.
Now, this is to bring now, from what I was reading. Now, as I said, this is the internet, so take this with a grain of salt. But from what I was reading was that apparently Tom Welling from
Oh, you
from
did,
Smallville.
you were saying this.
But now there's more talks after coming out now that you could have possibly Brandon Roth show up as his version of Kingdom Come Superman from the CW crossover, which could be cool. You know, could be cool.
I think they should leave.
I still want Nicolas Cage though. I need it. I need it in my fucking eyeballs, man. I don't care how batshit crazy that is. Said it again, but yeah, I need that in my eyeballs. My eyeballs.
I think they should keep the CW separate because it is. Now I don't know your opinion on it, but any of the stuff I've watched is absolute. Like, it's not trash. I won't say trash. That's too harsh. It's very cheap compared when you put them next to the movie versions. If you get me.
It doesn't land to universe.
It doesn't look right, basically.
I mean, look, I've enjoyed the Flash. I think the Flash is pretty stellar now. To be fair, I do think they've done a great job with Flash.
Dawson's Creek superheroes. Sorry,
dude, you're talking to a dude that grew up with Dawson's Creek. Do you want to know why? Because it related to me. He was a filmmaker. I was a filmmaker. You know, that's probably where it ended in relation. But I just because they spoke with a dictionary. There was a.
They're all dramatic cunts, basically.
Oh yeah, I mean it's on Netflix now. If you want to go check out your youth.
No, I don't.
I did. I rewatched it.
Never.
But no, with the CW, like I was a Smallville kid. I even when I knew it had gotten really bad in season 8 and 9, I still held on hope that this thing was going to be like, oh, but he's going to eventually become Superman, and and then I was kind of going like, yeah, but I mean, we'll get there eventually. And then I held on for 10 seasons. I loved Smallville. So when Supergirl came on, I really did like Supergirl when it first came on. But then they started to kind of fuck with the design of the show and things like that, and it did start to lose its edge. League of Tomorrow, I think that's what it's called.
League of Tomorrow is like they made superhero costumes out of stuff in people's garden shed.
Yeah, I mean, it was cool that we got like the Atom and all that stuff in it and everything else. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, I was never a massive fan of that.
They're like the DC version of Agents of Shield.
And crazy thing about it is Green Arrow was the one that kind of like started the whole. Well, one started Smallville started it, but Green Arrow kind of catapulted this new generation of these kind of interlinking shows. And I genuinely didn't really watch a lot of it.
I tried to watch Arrow twice.
Yeah.
And I just could not get into it. I really wanted to, and I couldn't. I tried my best. And like, no.
But I mean, I'm the guy.
Same for me.
I've seen Daredevil. I've seen some of Jessica Jones and an episode or two of Luke Cage. I've still I still haven't seen The Punisher yet. Yeah. Well, so I'm the guy that's missing out on some great TV there, like because you were telling me how good Punisher was.
Punisher is excellent. Don't watch Iron Fist.
Yes, I mean I saw 10 minutes of the opening of that first episode, and I was like, that's enough for me. I don't like his face.
Yeah. Damien says Brandon may not be everyone's opinion, but mine is he's an underrated Superman. I'd agree with that as well.
Yeah, I do.
See, stuck in a bad Superman movie.
You see, what it was, man, when you look back at it, now, and I have gone back to Superman Returns, just kind of, because when you watch a movie and you're kind of disappointed in it when you see it, like, I really wanted that to be good, but then you go back a few years later and you watch it and kind of go like, I wonder will this actually hit me a different way? Because it's been a few years since it came out. And there are some moments in it, there are some sections of it that I'm like,
it's just a boring Superman movie, if I'm honest.
Well, I mean, realistically, because it was never stated directly, but this was genuinely a connection or a sequel of sorts to Superman 1 and 2, not 3 and 4, which is weird. Superman 1 and 2. And
because 3 and 4 were awesome.
And then Brandon Roth's Kingdom Come Superman in the CW in Crisis on Infinite Earths was also a sequel to Superman 1, 2, and Returns. Because obviously Christopher Reeves had passed. So Brandon Roth was technically playing Christopher Reeves as Superman in that movie. But I agree with you. It was basically Ben Stiller trying to make a fanboy Superman movie, but really, really, really just made a boring Superman movie, like a
Yeah.
really boring Superman film. Do you know what I mean? There was more action in Quest for Hope and fucking Superman 3 than there was in this movie. You know, which, as I've stated many times before, that is the reason people. That is the Man of Steel was the reactionary movie to Superman Returns. The Superman Returns was boring and had very little going on, and then Man of Steel came out and swung for the fucking
Amped it
fences
up, yeah,
and
yeah.
destroyed everything. In their path, and people were like, "There's too much violence," and then when they saw Superman Returns, it was like, "There's not enough violence." I was like, "Where the fuck do you win with these people?" Like, you know.
So, Tubbs, we've gotten way off topic there.
And it's never off
As
topic.
we always do with DC.
No, but I've noticed it's never off topic if the conversation's good.
Yeah, that's true, I suppose.
Yeah.
So, other casting news. Emilia Clarke of Game of Thrones and just Game of Thrones. I was going to mention Terminator there, but no. Terminator Genesis. I can never say it. Genesis. Oh, such a disappointing movie. But anyway, she is being cast in Marvel Studios' Secret Invasion, coming up soon on Disney Plus. What do you think of that, boy?
I missed every word of that.
Did you?
Yes, because my screen just like froze.
Oh, okay. So yeah, Emilia Clarke from Game of Thrones has been cast in Secret Invasion, the new Marvel Cinematic Universe TV show coming on Disney Plus. It already has Samuel Jackson, Ben Mendelsohn, who played Talos in Captain Marvel. And it looks to be a continuation of that. So thoughts?
I am super excited for this because I fucking love Emilia Clarke and I think she's going to be class. And didn't she just come up with her own comic book as well?
Yes. Mom, was it? Mother of Mayhem or something like that?
I mean, like, this is what I love. This is what I love about pop culture and just in general. It's like Emilia Clarke, Game of Thrones, and she's just like seems like a really cool person in general, and she's a really I really like her as an actress. And then she just comes out with a comic book. Here, look, I made this thing, and that's so I'm going to definitely check that out. But I'm going back to Secret Invasion. Yeah, I think this is really, really cool, dude. I think this is a really good casting choice. She's got some acting chops, and she's likable as well. So I mean,
oh God, my voice. Academy Award winner Olivia Colman has also been cast in it.
Okay.
You don't know who she is, do you?
I don't.
Okay.
I mean, one of the lads said to me the other day about the Oscars. They were like, "Are you going to watch the Oscars this year?" I was like, "Are the Oscars on this year?" I didn't even know because I genuinely haven't got a clue. What the fuck is going on in the world? No, but I mean, with the Emilia Clarke thing, man. I mean, as I said to you, with Secret Invasion, I know some bits.
Yeah.
But I don't. Like, this is what I like about the movies. This is now a story that I'm not 100%. Clued into.
Yeah.
So, there's probably things that like that I don't know that I probably sent you was like, what's this, Brie? Well, who's this person?
Well, like, I reckon it's going to be obviously it's going to be a lot more smaller scale than the actual. So there's Olivia Colman.
Oh yes, I do know her. I do. Yeah. See, faces, not names.
In the comic series, basically the Skrull take shitloads of Earth's heroes and replace them with their own versions.
Yeah, I know that it's like there's like alternate versions because they've kind of like, so kind of like you'd be wondering to yourself, because do you remember even after the Skrulls started to show up in the MCU in bits and droves, then people were kind of going, it's like, oh, if this person dies, they're probably just a Skrull, man. Yeah, she's such a good actress, man. She's so likable then, man, as well.
So like, I suppose you don't know the story too well, so if you have any thoughts on who she might be playing.
You see, I mean, I said, what was the character? Because I talked to you about this the other day. Remember who I figured it was, because I had remember reading an arc that was. No,
you came up with some like random X-Men character that I didn't even know.
But then I was totally wrong. I was kind of going like, oh man, Jesus Christ, that's not her. I don't know. And you were saying you might be the Skrull Queen.
Now, two things.
Yeah.
Two characters, I think. Oh, nothing there. Wrong spelling, obviously. So I think it might be her,
Okay. Or
Varenka,
Spider.
in the middle.
Do you know something? Looking at that picture there, she might be a very good fit for Spider-Woman.
But Sony has the rights to Spider-Woman, I think. So,
Yeah, Sony can go fuck themselves and give us what we want.
well, yeah. But I think this is who it is. I think it's Queen Varenka
Yeah.
from Secret Invasion. She's basically the queen of the Skrulls. That would be one choice. Another choice would be, now I'm not sure has she showed up somewhere else already, but Sword Agent Abigail Brand will be another one.
Okay, yeah, okay.
And Sword are the ones that are on the moon now at the moment with Captain America and Nick Fury and all those. So it could
Yeah,
be
but see,
her.
I know this is like we'll get to this later, but like, yeah, what is the story with this whole Cap on the moon thing, man? Because
Well, like at the end of was it the last Spider-Man movie? It showed Nick Fury up in space.
yeah, I know that. Yeah, yeah. Then they had the where he was up. It was the odd there the post credit sequence thing.
Yeah, so he's up in space with Talos, the Skrull dude or whatever. Or Talos is
But
playing him.
where is the Captain America thing coming from?
Well, I reckon he went up there with Nick Fury when he kind
Now,
of.
old Cap or like a young
Oh
Cap?
no, old Captain America, Steve Rogers, like.
Okay, yeah, yeah. That's interesting. That's interesting because that was mentioned once or twice in
It's been mentioned in a few episodes, yeah.
in a few episodes about him being on the moon. I was kind of, what the fuck does that mean? But then again, do you know what I mean? I didn't know that. But yeah, very interesting. Yeah, I mean, I'd go for either the Sword Agent or if they are going to bring Spider Woman in. But as you said, that's another issue with Sony. So yeah, it's probably going to be the Skrull Queen.
I think she'd be great at that because she can do her like Queen of Dragons thing.
Yeah, but dude, I think the thing people need to understand is we're getting Emilia Clarke in an MCU movie or an MCU product. I'm happy. That already has me wanting to watch the show. So they've already fucking got a viewer in me.
Well, like it's MCU, so I'm going to watch it anyway. But
yeah, I was going to watch it. I have to watch it now because we review the shit on this show, don't we? Even if it's bad, I got to watch that shit.
So Damien says, good casting choice, Brian. Amelia has contributed to break free from Game of Thrones, so she can do other things like Star Wars and Marvel just as well. She'll be a heroine, Tubbs, just a guess. Yeah, she was great in Solo, actually. I was disappointed that we're probably not seeing a sequel to that.
But to
just
be fair,
her go on.
She was a good Sarah Connor as well, but just in a bad movie.
Oh, it was terrible.
but she wasn't that bad. She was actually good in the role, but it's just the film was terrible. You know what I mean? I mean, how many times have we seen great actors like Ryan Reynolds for one? You couldn't have made Green Lantern good if you were like the best actor in the world. And man, did he give it socks to try and make that a good movie?
Oh, he was terrible in that.
When it's
bad,
no. But but when it's bad, dude. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No actor can save it.
His acting was bad in that movie as well.
But you got to factor in the things like shitty script, shitty direction. Do you know what I mean? I've seen like Johnny Depp be amazing as Captain Jack, but I've also seen Johnny Depp be Jack Sparrow in a bad Captain. No, but do you know what I mean? It gets to a point where like you can only push your abilities as an actor so far within a bad product. You know what I mean? So
we're going to talk about Secret Invasion again later, I think, when we're talking about Captain America and the Winter Soldier.
Yes, okay.
See what I did there. So now this one is just pure speculation that I've read on the internet, as you do. So the Netflix, some of the Netflix cast is speculated to be coming back with a twist. So Charlie Cox, Vincent D'Onofrio, what's her name? The girl that plays Jessica Jones, John Bernthal. They're the only ones. They're the only ones, right, that have been selected to come back and play new versions of their characters they already played in Netflix shows. So they'll be playing Punisher, Daredevil, Jessica Jones and
just MCU versions.
The Kingpin, so with no previous history, no Netflix history behind them. That is really, really interesting concept, I think.
And it is to think, because obviously we've been hearing the rumors about the fact that like Charlie Cox is supposed to be the guy representing Peter Parker in Spider-Man Far From Home.
Is it Far From Home?
Well, the next Spider-Man movie, is that what it's called? Oh, no, it's Spider-Man Home Slice. I forgot. Yeah.
Yeah, it is Far From Home, isn't it?
Yeah, it's Far From Home, yeah. But I mean, like that's what we're reading at the moment is that he is supposed to. Oh, did you hear the news? Actually, jumping ships to Spider-Man at the moment, since we just literally landed there. Did you hear the news that came out about Spider-Man?
No.
Apparently, secret sections of the story got leaked online. Apparently, now this.
Yes, Damien is right. No Way Home. I knew that was Far From Home was the last one. Was it?
It was. Yes.
Yeah.
We're not good at our jobs, Brian.
Well, good thing we're not getting paid.
This is why I love the comments. When we fuck it up, we mess up the name of something, then we can be corrected. But no, but from what I've been told, not from my sources in the media, no, from what I was reading the other day, is what actually was apparently supposed to have been leaked, was there's 4 villains.
Oh, I don't want to hear any spoilers.
Okay, will I not say this?
No, don't say this.
Okay.
Don't spoil the movie.
Okay. Now, yeah, but come here, Roger. That's not spoiling it. It could be rubbish.
Yeah, but usually when these things come out, they're not rubbish.
But see, Brian, this is why we work together. When I'm about to spoil something, you tell me shut the fuck up, and I do.
But yeah, I don't like if there's. I did something like this when Star Wars came out, the last one, the Last Jedi. Was it the Last Jedi? Yeah, the last crap one. And there was a leaked thing that came out about 3 to 4 months before it came out, and 90% of that was pretty much bang on. So yeah. I'm like not doing that anymore.
Yeah, and it came from a source of videos that a site that I normally look at that are actually 90% of the time they're on the ball. So I was kind of going, oh shit, that could be right on this one.
So
we'll let it until things get announced.
We'll let that be a fly in the web there and disappear. But yeah, so the Netflix characters, we already kind of have a speculation point where Daredevil will drop in. For me, where Kingpin as well it's speculated that he will drop into the Hawkeye show. And Echo, who is going to be an assassin, she's a blind or a deaf assassin, I think, in the comics, is hired by him, apparently. So, other than the next two, then Jessica Jones, and where could you even put her? She-Hulk, I would be thinking.
Yeah, I mean, like that would be a perfect place to slot her in. You know. Now, I mean, for me, if you were going to, because I mean, I know Hawkeye is going to be very much espionage and spy type shit again. I mean, that could be your window for fucking Punisher. Well, or Luke Cage even.
Well, Luke Cage and Iron Fist have nothing been said about them, so they're on shelf still, I'd say.
Oh, so it's not Luke Cage. It's only
three. just the 4 I mentioned.
I say, who's the 4? It's Daredevil, Punisher, Jessica Jones, and
Kingpin.
Oh, Kingpin. Oh, Kingpin from Daredevil.
Yeah.
That's that's awesome. Yeah.
Now, my fucking nerd brain is going for Punisher. Imagine Moon Knight turns up, or in his show is terrifying or terrorizing the neighborhood or whatever, and Punisher is the one that goes after him.
Now, I genuinely like. I mean, this opens up. I know it's from the Civil War comic book, but obviously they could slot this in at like another time down the road. But there's one shot in that book that always resonated with me. Was with Punisher is literally holding Spider-Man after he gets like fucking beat down, and I was gonna go now they can do that scene, like that can happen.
Punisher kills 2 villains, doesn't he? And then
Yeah.
brings Spider-Man back and just lays down for Cap and he won't fight him back. I love that scene.
Yeah, so I'm going like, I
Oh,
mean, and it doesn't even have to be Steve Rogers Cap. You know what I mean? So
yeah. Yeah, I really like that. I
I
would
mean,
have loved to have
it's
seen
all
that.
good news. I mean, that's just a win for every one of us. The fact that we got like those characters back, you know,
Mm.
and the fact that we've already seen what they can do on a TV show. And who knows, man? Who fucking
But
knows? They
like
might get their
you
own
know as
show.
well, like that. They're going to MCUize them, which isn't a bad thing. It's not a. No, you're not going to have Daredevil sticking fence poles up through people's throats in this one, and Punisher stabbing convicts inside in prison and stuff.
Yeah,
That's not.
but at the same time, we haven't really like we've seen Captain America do like horrendous things with his shield, and
Well,
because we
John
haven't seen,
Walker.
excuse me, excuse me,
Bless you.
we all know what that means, lads.
Well, at least we're doing a video chat and you can't give me COVID, so that's fine.
Yes, there you go. There you go. We're safe in the video world. But yeah, I mean, outside of John Walker, you've never seen I mean, you go back to like Civil War, and that opening sequence where they're coming in and he's like fucking firing the shield off dudes' heads and he's kicking cars into their midsection and so he's killing dudes practically, but because there's no like really like deadly violence, no blood. You don't think of it
Mm.
as Cap killing dudes, you know. So they could definitely do it. Now with the Punisher, I don't know how they're going to get around that because it's the fucking Punisher, you know.
Mm.
Unless unless he shows up in Deadpool.
No, I don't think if he won't show up in something silly like that. I wouldn't think it'd be definitely something more serious.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely will be the serious ones. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how they like form them into like the Avengers world. And but I mean, when you think about it, like Natasha Romanoff, you know, her backstory is pretty dark. Like, you know what I mean? So, and they made her a fan favorite. So,
So let's go through some comments. Blah, blah, blah. Damien says, "Screaming Hector Hammond. Oh my God, never again." From Green Lantern. Yeah, he did correct us. Far From Home with Mysterio, and he said, "Tubbs, no spoilers, no spoilers, no spoilers."
I didn't spoil it. I didn't spoil it.
So no spoilers. So yeah, so that's the Netflix characters. I'm like, there's all the fans want them back, and
Yeah.
if it means they have to get rid of their Netflix history, I'm so fucking cool with that because
I mean, look, the way I look at it, Brian, is even if they get rid of their Netflix history, that's still there for you to watch.
exactly, if you like,
You know.
I think most of them their stories were done anyway in that universe.
Well, I
It
mean,
wasn't,
I think Daredevil's was the most stretched out. I think Jessica Jones and the Punisher they only got like 2 seasons.
and like you got a version of Bullseye in the Daredevil Netflix series, but it was never really fully followed through on.
Yeah, so they're I mean, to give the Kingpin a fresh start. And to be fair, now you get to bring the Kingpin into Spider-Man's world.
And you get to bring Elektra in as well to the MCU, which is massive.
Yeah, so many options, man. So many options.
So yeah, like one thing I would say about Elektra is she's one of the main people that are taken away in Secret Invasion as well. So I wonder, could they do that as well?
I mean, this could be, you know, I mean, bringing Daredevil in, and this could be very much a
Oh,
window.
what if, and this is total speculation hat on here,
Okay.
what if the real Daredevil, the real Punisher, the real Kingpin, and the real Jessica Jones are away on the Skrull homeworld, and the ones that are here, the Netflix ones, were Skrulls?
I mean, I think that's probably not what they're going to do, but I genuinely think
I
that's a
know.
good fucking idea. But come here, in a world where you have control of all these characters,
You can do whatever the fuck you want now.
fucking do it if you wanted to. You know what I mean? And I mean, you know, let's be honest, you could do an entire fucking season of Secret Invasion and then have them bring the original those same characters you've seen show up in the MCU and cement themselves. But there was an MCU trailer as well this week, wasn't there?
There was. We're getting onto that now. So Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. Now, 100%, I'm not going to lie, I'm not 100% up on Shang-Chi. I have seen him in comics a few times, but I've never read any of his like his own trades. I've seen him pop up here and there. Like, so what did you think of the trailer?
Grant?
Was it a meh from you?
No, it wasn't even meh. What it was I was kind of going, yeah, it's a cool trailer. There's some cool moments in this trailer, but I don't honestly know anything about the character.
So is this more like a Guardians thing for you?
Very much so. I mean, this could be the one out of the phase forward that I'm sitting there going, this was fucking unreal. Because I don't really, and I mean, I'll openly admit that. I'm like you. I've seen the character pop up, but I know nothing about the character. I don't know what the 10 rings are. I never followed Shang-Chi's kind of arc and story in comic books. I never did. So I'm going into this with like massive fresh eyes. So when I watched that trailer, I was sitting there going, I haven't got a clue what's going on. I don't know who any of these people are. I'm assuming that's Shang-Chi. Yeah, there's some really cool moments in the trailer. But when I finished the trailer, I was like, that was cool.
So
there was no investment.
Okay, so
I don't mean that in a bad way. No, I just mean this because I
totally
don't know anything about it.
You watched the Iron Man animated series in the 90s, right?
Yes.
So those 10 rings, they're the Mandarin's 10 rings.
Okay, is that what they are? So,
and the 10 rings is the guys who kidnapped Tony Stark in Iron Man 1.
Okay, so is the Mandarin in this show or in this movie?
So it's not a spoiler because this is this
has been confirmed. I'm assuming
has been confirmed, and there's an action figure and everything. So Shang-Chi's father in the comics, his father, if you want to posh it up a bit, his dad in the comics is a character called Fu Manchu, who basically.
Okay, now see, I didn't know this. So, okay, now I know some stuff.
So basically, that character is just a massive, horrible Asian stereotype. So they had to stop using that after a while. And in some Shang-Chi comics, his dad was the Mandarin. So
you think they're doing Mandarin in this?
So yeah, if you look at the trailer, the dude has bracelets up along his arms, 5 on each arm. That's fucking the Mandarin.
Okay, so those bracelets on his arms, they're the 10 rings, right?
Yes, because the 10 rings. The 10 rings come from an alien dragon called Fing Fang Foom.
Now, is Fing Fang Fu that dragon that grows? He's green. He's huge.
The big orangey green dragon. Yeah, that's
okay. Yeah, okay. I know who that is. Yeah. See, like as I said, I didn't realize that. Like the when I saw the trailer, this is what I mean. When I saw the trailer and I saw the shot of your man's arms with the bracelets, nothing in my head goes, "There's the rings." I was going, "That's a cool shot." That's where my brain went.
So those would be rings for a dragon's fingers.
Okay, that's fucking cool. So at least I know a little bit more. Just what I love about this show, guys. All right, I watched the trailer and I was going to go, all right, I don't really know anything about this, but Brian mentions a few names and a few tidbits, and I'm like, oh, I remember that from a cartoon. I know who that character is. Mandarin, I know who this is. All right, so I know enough now to go in and possibly enjoy this.
So, like, a few things annoy me about this is we're getting the Mandarin now when Tony Stark is dead. First of all. Like in the comics, the reason they were like yin and yang, to use more Asian stereotypy shit, is it was East versus West, Eastern technology or Western technology versus Eastern magic and stuff. Do you know what I mean? That's why they were such a good villain and hero combination.
I mean, when you mentioned the Mandarin, like, I mean, my first initial thought is to like go to Iron Man. I'm like, yeah, from Iron Man. You know what I mean? That's who I remember it. It's like Doctor Doom. If you said like Doctor Doom was like, oh yeah, Fantastic Four. It's just, you know, certain villains you associate with certain heroes.
It's like this, Tubbs. If you did the DCEU and you did the Justice League 1 and 2 and 3, and then Batman gets killed in Justice League 3, and then the very next Aquaman movie you bring in the Joker.
Yeah, it's pretty stupid. Like, I mean, it's really crazy. But see, this is the thing. People will say, but Brian, But Brian, they already had the Mandarin in an Iron Man movie. You know, they didn't really. They had an actor playing the Mandarin. And then let's be honest, because it's been a long time since I've seen Iron Man 3. Was Guy Pearce supposed to be the Mandarin? Yeah, like the actual Mandarin.
Possibly. I don't think
He
so.
was Mr. Glowy Man. Oh, look at me, I'm Mr. Glowy Man with my glowy hands. He wasn't the Mandarin. Not how I remember it, not how you remember it.
But
So cool. It's cool that they're getting it now, but yeah, it's
even in the Adi Granoff graphic novel Extremis that Iron Man 3 is based off of.
Yeah.
In that line, Mandarin does use the Extremis virus or whatever they called it in the comics eventually, but what Guy Pearce did, no.
I mean,
unless fucking Mandarin. Pepper fucking Potts killed him, like.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a very long time since I've watched Iron Man 3. It genuinely has.
I think like they just used the iconography and the imagery of the Mandarin to scare the shit out of fucking people.
Yeah, I mean, and I loved Ben Kingsley's version of it.
Yeah.
Until we figured out he wasn't actually who he was.
And there is a short movie as well, Hail to the King, if you've seen that.
That's the short that they released afterwards, wasn't it?
That has Ben Kingsley in prison, and this guy comes up to him looking for him and says the Mandarin has something, wants to fucking speak with you for fucking up his name or whatever. So I would love there was like a cameo of Ben Kingsley getting like fucked up.
Wouldn't it be cool if that guy that they were talking about was the Mandarin that's going to show up in Shang-Chi? You know what I mean? If they connected the dots on that, then you have interlinking stories where it was like, all right, Iron Man's not around anymore. Spoilers.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? But at least you get to kind of like mess around with it. And look, who fucking knows? Kevin Feige's probably going like, hey, Robert, please just come back. You know, we'll throw like every inch of Disney's money at you to get you to come back. I don't think, like, if Cap comes back, fine. If Natasha Romanoff comes back at some point, fine. I think Iron Man's death was too finalized to bring it back. I think you would undo everything that happened in Endgame if you were to bring him back.
I think Cap is fine because he's still alive.
Yeah.
But anyone else that's dead, stay dead.
No, I mean, look, I genuinely think at some point you will see Natasha Romanoff back in the MCU. Apparently, I read it today. Apparently, Marvel are throwing like wads of cash at fucking Scarlett Johansson to like consider coming back. So, I don't know. No. I guess we'll find out what happens at the end of the Black Widow movie, and we don't know where that's going to go.
But like, back to the trailer there, I know we got tailed off talking about the Mandarin and stuff. I think
it's part of what's coming.
It looks to be standard. Oh, I sent you to America to learn Western culture. Now come back to me and be my bitch, basically. But he ends up fighting him because he finds something better to fight for or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, it does. It genuinely looks like a brand new hero's origin story.
Yeah.
You know,
I will say Death Dealer looks fucking awesome.
Is that who that is?
The blue guy with the blue ninja looking dude.
Yeah, he looked cool.
100% accurate as well.
The only thing I will say is though, when I saw him, it's a him, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. When I saw him show up on screen, now this is only my brain. My brain instantly went to, he looks like Taskmaster from Black Widow.
Nah.
Just costume wise, I mean, that's only me. That's only me.
It's much more robotic.
But as I said, this goes to the fact that I'm not familiar. I'm not 100% familiar with that character. So
yeah. But and funnily enough, like the action figures for Shang-Chi were leaked a few weeks ago, and they're already actually out this Friday from.
Really? And when is the movie out?
September.
Jesus. So let's break down the calendar here, right? I know we're getting like a ton of Marvel TV shows, but when are we getting the first Marvel movie of this year?
Black Widow in July.
So that's July, and then it's Shang-Chi.
Shang-Chi in September. You have Eternals November, possibly. and
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man in December.
So okay, so Thor: Love and Thunder is not until next year.
No, next year for
Okay,
that
okay.
and Doctor Strange and a few others. But like you also still have TV show wise, you've Loki to come, you've Hawkeye to come, and I think Miss Marvel as well
And this is all this year.
this year. Yeah,
Oh, that's fucking cool. So
that's.
She-Hulk is next year as well. Okay, I'll have to look up the actual
I
base
have to look
calendar.
up that as well, actually.
No, but I mean, like, yeah, I'll have to look it up myself because I wasn't sure because I know Loki got pushed back, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's in July or June, I think.
yeah, because wasn't it supposed to be originally? I don't know if I looked at this correctly, but wasn't it supposed to be when? Because next week will be obviously the making of Falcon and the Winter Soldier episode.
So Friday, the 11th of June, Loki starts.
So, but wasn't it supposed to be like after that it was Black Widow, and then after that it was Loki? But they both got pushed back.
I think that was kind of a leaked thing that was wrong, though, wasn't it?
Well, I mean, like it got leaked. The timetable got leaked at the time, so I think everyone just took it verbatim that it was like, oh, this is the way it's going to go, you know. But yeah, but I mean, it's a fucking, it's not a 12-month calendar, but it's as good as for Marvel content.
So
it's 95% more than what we got last year, Brian. Right?
Yeah, exactly. Damien says Marvel has experimented, and so far with John Walker, it is brutal, but sets up the scene and his feelings perfectly. It's not too violent yet. And he also said Hammerhead should be a big baddie in an MCU show. Classic baddie, give Kingpin a rest. Yeah, I would love to see Hammerhead in a movie. Trailer was interesting. As I said, I try to avoid any Marvel or 007 trailers now. Wingwu is Mandarin. He said Ben was fantastic in the first few scenes and had me believing he meant business. Shame what they did. So what else have we got? Do you want to do your Brie Larsson moment of the week now or wait for a while?
I will be honest with you. I didn't pick a Brie Larsson moment this week, other than I dislike her face. Do you want to know why? Because I actually got sun into my veins this week. I got to go walking. I got some exercise. I did my fucking front garden. So I was going to look up a Brie Larsson moment, but you know what happened, Brian? I was like, you know what? I enjoyed myself this week. Fuck that bitch in her fucking face. I'm still hating on her solid, like, but you know, actually, I do have one.
Okay, go on.
I see, and it's not a moment of like, it's not new. I seen her dancing on a talk show the other day, and I was like, man, that bitch has got wobbly left hips, man. You know, like her right and her left are left, like, which is basically the same as her fucking views, apparently, right? You know?
Oh, Tubbs.
See, you thought I was going to be nice about it, and then I just went.
My Natalie Portman moment of the week is Amazon Prime being an absolute dickhead and not. They initially they were showing the Mortal Kombat movie on a Friday at a price of 15 something. And Friday came and went, and there was no Mortal Kombat movie showing up on Amazon Prime. And people contacted them, and they said, "Oops, my bad. We never actually were going to show that. Who knows what's going to happen now?" So yeah. So if you want to watch Mortal Kombat in the UK or Ireland, where we are, you have to go searching the naughty places for it.
So just a question. Where does Natalie Portman fit into this?
Well, it annoyed me as much as her face does.
Oh, okay, yeah. See, I now I totally get it. Yes, it just has to. So is this how this game is played from now on? It
yeah,
just
you don't actually
as much as their face.
You don't have to actually pick Brie Larsson every week. Just something that annoys you as much as
no, there's enough there of Brie Larsson to hate. There really is. Like, so I can keep this ship going. I just had too much fun this week to care about that bitch. You know what I mean?
Ship going. Oh, Jesus Christ, Tubbs. Yeah.
So we have like news and stuff covered. So
yeah, we can go on to Invincible.
Or do you want to do 80s video games now?
No, we'll do Invincible.
We'll do Invincible first, and then we'll bookend it on. Yeah, okay. Yeah.
So before we go any further, I just want to say, now I know we watch Falcon and the Winter Soldier and other bits and pieces. I watch Mighty Ducks, Polar Opposites, but Invincible is fast become my favorite TV show of the week.
So fucking compelling, man.
It is absolutely astounding how good this show is. I cannot get over how good it has gotten in the past 3 weeks alone.
And how many episodes are we in again? This week was
This,
episode
next
7.
next week is the finale.
Yes, and I still don't know what's going to happen. This is what I love about this show. I'm fucking 7 episodes in, and all I can make out is that Omni-Man, actually, spoiler alert,
Spoilers for
massive spoiler
Invincible
alert.
episode 7.
But to be fair, I think, all right, okay, I'm going to say we're 10 episodes into this show. If you have watched us or you're in the chat every week and everything else, you know we're going to spoil the shit out of the stuff we're talking about. So just, if you haven't seen it, jog on and watch it. But if not, stay and listen to the rambles of a madman and Tubbs, because he's pretty mental. But yeah, Omni-Man's still an asshole. Like a massive asshole, like.
God, I love his character though. It's
so good. J.K. Simmons is
amazing.
nailing it with this character,
like.
I will say one thing though, because I have spoke in detail about how much I actually love the Mark's mother, the character in this.
Yeah.
I feared for her so bad in this episode, man. I was like, oh man.
The whole scene in their house and when they were across the road.
I was like going, oh man, please. Like it seems like he's trying to eradicate anyone that can like place the blame on him. Which makes him like 10 times more the asshole. Like much happened in this episode, by the way.
The scene with Mark's best mate in the car when Omni-Man comes over to him. Yeah. My heart was literally in my fucking throat for him.
I was like, man,
if he kills him, like
turned into a cyborg, don't hurt the guy, But Amber, what bitch?
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I get it, but this is what happens, man. This is how we said it, when you have to be a superhero, you're never going to be able to live that normal life.
Yeah, it's the Peter Parker problem.
And it's not because you're late showing up and, sometimes you don't show up and people get mad. It's just, no, you try to date regular, normal girls that are just assholes. And Amber very much, like, this is why, I very much see him ending up with Adam Eve. And it's a better pairing because as female characters go in cartoons, she's hot as balls.
So like, how cool was it that the twins brought back the Immortal and he was literally dead again in 10 minutes?
Well, yeah, I genuinely did think that was like, okay, they've brought one back. So like, shit's gotta go down. And down it did. They like he fucked him up. Like he was fucking Omni-Man up, like, but yeah, and then he just got like taken out again, and then it comes down to the end where it's just it's Mark and his dad, and he's like, we have to talk, he's like, what did you do? And he's like, and then it's just them there, but the fucking robot dude, fucking how creepy was that?
Yeah, the little fucking I had no, like, did you think that fucking thing in the chamber was actually a robot? Did you
No, I thought I genuinely thought was happening was I was half right on what I was saying. Was that I remember I said to you was I think he's trying to create a human body for himself, like the robot. I didn't realize that the thing in the jar was robot.
Yeah, like I thought that thing was going to grow into something else as well.
And I was getting pure Total Recall vibes from it.
Yeah, actually.
Like he was like this thing was all like this and fucking everything, and then he just turns in, which is fucking. I loved the interaction scene. Sorry, when he shows up at the fucking hero's place. What were they called again? God,
I can't think of it either.
Guardians of the Globe, their headquarters.
Yeah. Guardians headquarters.
But when he shows up there, and then and Red just kind of was like, "Why do you have my face?" And it was just going. The whole interaction was so good. But
what the fuck, man?
And the fact, but now he's like such a weirdo. He's like, I'm a 30-year-old in a teenage boy's body. And I was going, wow, that is so fucking creepy when you say it out loud. Like, it was just such a
Uh,
creepy line. Or maybe I'm creepy that I interpreted it that way. I
I
don't know.
didn't interpret it that way anyway.
Maybe there's things wrong with me.
Well, we've known that for a long time, but
Yeah, very
anyway.
much so. But but yes, another stellar episode, dude. Genuine, like,
Like
I kind of liked there was a little nuances I noticed as well with Mark, with Invincible himself. When he was, I mean, even though I joke about Amber, like, but he was actually in the wrong regarding how he was, how the whole relationship kind of fell apart with Amber. He was, but sat there and kind of was like feeling sorry for himself and trying not to take the blame for it,
yeah,
which realistically, because we've seen a softer side of him as the episodes went, and then every now and again he'll explode, which is kind of he was very like his mother. The behavior he had in this episode was very similar to Omni-Man, because
father, yeah.
Omni-Man was also doing this shit, trying to like not take the blame for what he did, in a way. So yeah, this was a very compelling episode, and I think it has set up the finale very nicely. Because as I said, we're hitting episode 8, and I still don't know, like, and even I don't even like enjoy even the characters in it, because even and the thing I loved about the confrontation with Omni Man and Cecil, um, or Cecil, sorry,
Cecil.
um, when he was doing that like crazy fucking like projection thing, around, was he asked him why. He said, "I've known you 20 years. You owe me that." And he was like, "I don't know. Like, I'm not like." He wouldn't tell him like why he did it. And I was kind of going, "Oh my god, Cecil is the audience right now. Like, why did you fucking kill the fucking league?" And then your man sitting there was like, "I'm not gonna tell you yet." And you're, oh, so I reckon that was like that moment where it was like the audience was in on this section more than they should have been,
Yeah, I
because it
agree with you there.
genuinely felt, because I've been saying it for weeks. It's like, what the fuck did he do it? Like, and even the wife said it was like, were you controlled? Did someone blackmail you? And he was like, no, I just had to do it. And I was kind of going like, oh, he's just a fucking asshole. Like, and I think your theory is right. He came to Earth and designed a reasoning for how he is and why he's there, and
He
it's
came
not
to
that
kick
at all.
ass and chew bubblegum, and he's all out of bubblegum.
Yeah. So he's basically after getting caught in a web of his own lies now, and it's all crumbling. Like,
Yeah, I think he's a conqueror, and
yeah,
like anyone that is a threat gets turned into a pool of mutton chops.
which and I think this is what's going to happen as well, is because it is that thing. It's like, where I think Mark, like Invincible himself, is too much like the humans and his mother at his core. He has bits of Omni-Man in him. You've seen it kind of, they've sprinkled him out. As time's gone on in the show, he's had moments where like he's gotten super angry, or he's like not taking the blame for his part in something and things like that. So obviously, and I like the dynamic, because everyone says is every child is kind of like half their mother, half their father, in them, but in their core of their own person. So he's kind of he's not going to. I think when he finds out what happened, I don't think he's going to like magically go, all right, Dad. Probably a good reason for killing all those dudes. He's probably not going to side with him, and Omni-Man seems to have this mindset of like, well, if you're not with me, I'm going to
You're
kill you.
against me, yeah.
Yeah, I'm flat out going to murder you. Like, so will it come down to him trying to murder his own son?
I don't think so, and because the reason why I say that, I don't think we're going to get a resolution on that next week, because it's the last episode, and there is so many different threads that haven't begun to get
Oh yeah, I mean,
started.
we know, but what I mean by that is like, by the end of season 1, do you think that Omni-Man is going to become like a massive villain?
He's already a massive
Like, he is
villain.
a villain, but I mean, I find he is a villain because he's kind of hiding what he did. But I think, like, will he be openly like, fuck this world, I'm going to destroy it?
No, I think they're going to find some way to make him go away for a while without killing him.
Yeah.
Because you've got the mob boss guy, who Invincible used last 2 weeks ago. You've got the Mars thing that's still going to come back as well.
Yeah.
You've got that Lion guy is definitely not done. The guy that nearly killed Invincible. He's going to come back into it as well, I reckon. There's so many fucking
Yeah, I mean,
things.
the only reason I say it is because it does seem like they are building up to a confrontation between Invincible and Omni-Man at the end of the season. Now,
Oh yeah, there will be a fight, like I think.
yeah, I mean, but that's what I'm saying is like, will it be one of those things where, um, like Omni-Man gets like zapped to fucking back to his own home planet, or like just something like that, and he obviously will come back, but I can't see them killing him off because I don't think. I mean, it wouldn't. I mean, me personally, I mean, if Invincible kills him at the end of the season, it kind of would feel very forced and silly because he's nowhere near as powerful as him. He hasn't even factored in how strong he is yet. So yeah, it's interesting. It'll be very, very interesting to see how how they how they finish up this season. You know what I mean? Because we've never seen this show before. This is brand new waters, brand new territory for us.
I'm so tempted to read the comics. I'm mad to read the comics.
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely going to get them. I'm definitely going to dive into these because this is what I love about this kind of content. I didn't really know anything about this. I knew the comics were there, I've seen kind of pictures of it and stuff online and things, but I've never read them. And this show has made me want to go back and read the comics, which is deadly.
So Tubbs, what is your final prediction before we move on for next week?
Oh, for next week, I think um I definitely think there's going to be a confrontation of sorts. I don't know how big in scale it's going to be, but there definitely something like there's definitely going to be a break between Invincible and Omni-Man. Um, I reckon Omni-Man could, as you said, be taken out. I don't know how. I don't think because I can't remember his name. The guy that came back from the league, they brought him back.
Oh, the Immortal.
And yeah, the Immortal. Sorry. I genuinely thought like when he came back, I was like, oh, he's going to factor into the fucking finale of this show like massively.
I loved how fucking angry he was as well.
Like he was
Primal
so
rage,
pissed, like I mean, fucking completely pissed. I also think Robot. I think Robot has a massive. I think he's like when he first came in as the robot, he was just an artificial intelligence. I was like, oh, that's pretty good. He's kind of creepy in a lot of ways, but he's he's
yeah.
trying to figure out humans as he go or whatever. And then you've seen him trying to create this body thing, and you figure out that like the robot isn't even the actual thing. It's this fucking creature inside. So we haven't found out like where the creature came from. Like how is he like that? So I reckon he is going to be a massive factor in maybe the fall of the hero from the hero side of it. Yeah, I mean, I said at the start of the episode, we're going into the season finale next week, and I still don't know what the fuck is going on, but not in a bad way. I'm completely intrigued by this show. I genuinely am.
So that has been Invincible. So now, Tubbs, we're going to go through some 80s video games.
Yeah, man.
Insert kind, motherfucker. um, so I've got 10. You've got some as well.
I chose 15 because I know that we always kind of end up landing on similar ones by the end. So at least I'll be able to pull 10 out of that 15 down, so we won't cross over. But
And
hopefully anyway.
as we were saying before we went live, there is there's like between the 80s and the 90s is a massive jump in graphical quality.
I mean,
So
I said it to you before we came on. When we were digging in to look back over the 80s games and what we remembered and what we liked and what we played. You soon realize like how spoiled we were in the 90s. Like for video games, comic books, fucking like cartoons. Jesus Christ! I mean, it stepped up a massive difference. Like it was still fucking. You know what I mean? You look back at like the 90s games now, what they are, like what games are today, and you go like, Jesus Christ! Some of the graphics on these games are like terrible.
Yeah.
But then you go back a decade before to the 80s, and you're going like, oh my god! Some of these games are like, and I remember playing them, and I was like, these were the greatest games of my childhood, you know, because you remember them to be.
But like, I will say though, like some of these games, like I had emulators there for ages here,
I still play them.
and some of them are still awesome.
Yeah, I mean,
So
Boogie Bop, as you know, that comes on and comments on the shows, and he was like on for the wrestling stuff as well. He is an emulator mental case. Like he will emulate. Like I've given him. If he, I don't even know if he's listening. I'm going to say it out. I have given him a challenge to emulate a toaster because I reckon he can do it. Because he's emulated every single other appliance in his house.
yeah,
Got games in his Bible, Brian.
so I'm gonna kick off
Yeah, go for it.
Pitfall for the Atari 2600.
What was it?
Pitfall.
Fucking Pitfall. Jesus Christ.
Now, do you
Wow.
want visual aids for these tubs like last week?
Yeah, because I mean, like, you know, some of them, I mean, I'm going to remember names and stuff, but some of
Okay.
them I'm just going to be like, okay, what was that again?
So let's not even bother with number lists or whatever. Let's just call out games as we.
Yeah, okay, yeah, we'll do that. We'll go. I mean, look, what we have there, the list, we'll just name them off of our lists and we just won't be naming them as numbers.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you went with
English
Pitfall.
is good in the house.
Because I know, I mean, I'm trying to think, because I know Pitfall. Jeez, yeah, that was the original one. Look at that, man.
I had that for the Atari 2600.
Me, look how bad that looks like.
And that's one of those games where you want to put your foot through the television.
Oh, big time. Fucking hell, yeah.
That is the one thing, actually, we should have mentioned, is games back then were fucking hellish.
Dude, some of the games that I put on the list, like, were like, I mean, I think I cleared them. I can't remember because it's the 80s. But yeah, it was fucking crazy. Like how I remember Super Pitfall then was for the Super Nintendo, wasn't it? Or for the NES, I can't remember.
Okay, Tom, shout your first one.
Frogger. An old classic.
Who knew trying to get across the road could be so difficult?
And as you said about hard games, this was fucking deadly.
And it was so much fun. I absolutely loved Frogger.
Yeah, it was so fucking good, man. Yeah, do you remember? I mean, it is literally just a screen of you just going the whole way up along. Do you know what I mean? It's fucking addictive as fucking hell.
When I got my Atari 2600, I got a load of games with it. But the first game my parents actually bought me for my Atari 2600.
Fu Master. Jesus Christ.
Oh, wait, where's the original?
So that's not the one.
That's the one.
Like, I mean, it's crazy. Like when you look back, like we're 80s kids, right? So I mean, obviously we grew up with these games, so these would have been the first things that we kind of like remember in our brain. But Jesus Christ, some of the graphics on some of these games were so bad. Looking back at it, like, you know,
and that was actually awesome. It was going side to side.
Oh yeah, back when it came out, this was like fucking groundbreaking shit. Like, well, like there was a game that came out in the 80s, man. That, like, when you look at the graphics here and stuff, and it was pretty revolutionary for its time when it came out graphically. Like, I couldn't believe, like, when it came out, I was like, this looks like a fucking animated movie, you know. And it was Dragon's Lair.
Dragon's Lair. Oh my god, is that definitely 90s?
No, that's 80s.
80s. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
I remember it, but I've never played it.
But it was designed like a cartoon, which is kind of why the animation was like so groundbreaking when it first came out.
You
know, which is pretty fucking crazy. Like, to think, like, you know, I mean, the 80s, you look at, like, you know, Kung Fu Master, and you look at like Frogger, and then you get a game like this, you're like, oh my god, is this what gaming is now? And then you get the next game and it's back to fucking Kung Fu Master.
Sticking with dragons. Yep.
Yeah, see, I have that's the
80s arcade game. The first time I played a video game in an arcade.
Yeah. Because I have it on the list here. I put it on my list. But I think it was the first console version, and it was really bad. Like,
it was NES, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was the NES.
Yeah. But yeah, that one there.
Double fucking dragon, huh?
Billy and what was the other guy's name? Oh, I can't remember. Billy and Chuck. I just keep thinking because of the wrestlers. Billy and Jimmy Lee. That was it.
That was it. Yep.
But,
Arcade Smash.
what's your next choice?
Donkey Kong. Which, looking back at it, you're kind of going like, fucking Jesus, this was like such a basic, just such a basic game that introduced Mario. And if you remember Princess Peach, it looked like she was coming out of the pub. Like, looked genuinely does not look like she looks like in the newer or the Mario games that followed. Any of the characters didn't. But yeah, Mario, Donkey Kong, the whole lot. This was a classic, like absolute classic. But then a few years later, you get like another Mario game, and you're kind of going, "Wow, that wasn't that good."
This one barely made the cut, but oh, hold on. There we go.
Yeah,
Outrun. This used to be in the Crescent Shopping Centre, man. In the car shop.
Fucking loved this game. I loved it when it came out, and because there was a load of them that came out. I remember Pole Position and all those ones, like, you know what I mean. But this one, I think it was the because it was the beach setting and everything else. You know, it just stood out.
You're a kid. You want to drive a Ferrari. You want a hot car beside you.
But it looked a little different to most, because most of the, like, obviously when these games came out, you didn't realize that, like, you know, how these games were designed. It was like, you know, the screen was moving, not the car.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You didn't realize that when you first played them. Do you know what I mean? You're like, oh my God, look at me, I'm driving around the track, but the car never leaves the middle of the screen.
It's going so fast.
You know, it's just you're actually turning the road. It's fucking mad. But yeah, some of these games, as old as they are now, are still ultimate classics. Like, you could still pick them up now and play them.
And there's modern versions of most of them as well.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Well, so what's your next one, Tubbs?
Qbert.
Oh wow, Qbert! I forgot about him. That was like a puzzle game or something, wasn't it?
Yeah. Do you remember you had to jump on the squares?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I never
had it in the arcade, and it came out in the Super Nintendo as well, I think.
I was never a huge fan of puzzle games.
The NES, like, but a lot of like, when you look back at the 80s games, it was there wasn't a ton of, like, it was a lot of more like platformers or puzzle games. Do you know what I mean?
Or shoot 'em ups.
A lot of shoot 'em ups as well. And but they were all like, the design of them was very much a thing. It was like a square box, and it was like back and forth or up and down. I love.
My next one for mine was something I actually remember playing with my mother, who never plays video games. Desert Falcon for the Atari 2600.
If I remember correctly, this was the original template for Desert Strike, right?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you had an Egyptian setting, you had a bird flying around, and you had bosses and everything, like the giant sphinx. It was fucking awesome.
Right.
So good.
2600, huh? Fucking hell.
Well, yeah.
We're showing our fucking age that we know what this is. Like, the younger kids in the comments are like, "What the fuck are these guys watching?"
So, what's your next shout, Tubbs?
Castlevania.
Was that 80s?
That was the first the original Castlevania. Yeah.
How do I even spell it? What a fucking game!
Yeah, very first one. And hard as fucking balls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So tough.
Like, I genuinely think, I mean, when this came out, I can't remember the exact year. Oh, it's 86. It says it there. Yeah, so when this came out, I was 5. Like, I mean, I don't think I got to play this the year it came out. I think it was a few years after that I ended up playing it. But Jesus Christ, like, it was like late 80s when I finally got my hands on like a NES, I think.
And it was actually like there There's an anime on Netflix now of Castlevania,
Yeah, it's
and
fucking and
it's
the
fucking awesome as well.
the same animators on that show are animating the new He-Man cartoon.
For comments, Damien says 80s, late 80s was Atari ST era for me. My first console was the SNES. I remember playing TMNT 2 arcade game at a friend's house. That remains my favorite game, actually being updated due for release later this year. Anyone remember Dizzy, King of the Yoke, folk? I loved that. Huh.
No, I don't remember that now.
Let's have a look though.
Yeah, maybe I'll remember a picture of it.
It's like the cartoons last week. Huh.
Oh fuck yeah, I do remember this game.
I do remember that as well.
Jesus Christ, I played this in my cousin's house on, was it the Atari or Commodore?
You can get an Android and everything now.
Yeah, but I can't remember what machine it was on, but I remember we played the shit out of this, like, because it was only that or one other game. It was like, do you remember people that had like one game and then they had like a compilation pack of like 6 games on one?
Released in 1992.
Jesus, that fucking 92, was it?
The Amstrad and Spectrum, and also NES.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, that's cool.
Dizzy had that now.
I had forgotten that.
That.
So who's next for a pick? Me or you?
I pick Castlevania. So
okay, so for me, what?
It's on the list, but you got there first. The old classic, eh?
I absolutely love this game. I didn't play this until 1995 when I was actually in hospital. They had a NES on the ward, and they gave me this thing. I was like, "What the fuck is this?" So I didn't know at the time. I was still only, what was I, 10? And yeah, I was blasting ducks in no time. And well on my way to recovery.
Back in the days, Brian, right, where you literally in any given week, didn't matter how many times, you guaranteed at one point in that week you would have to stand there with your cartridge and just go and then open the lid and go to get that shit to work. Like, you know what I mean? It was fucking mental. It happened at least once or twice every week.
With every console,
every single cartridge, like on the NES. The NES was notorious for it. Like, Jed Duck Hunt, man, one of the old classics.
Duck Hunt, teaching kids how to shoot for years, huh?
California Games.
Yes, I remember this so well.
Yeah.
The skating fucking game.
And it had a variation of a lot of
it had loads, like the skating one is the one I remember the most. And the surfing.
Yeah. The NES version was the one. I remember this part. It was you had to like jump over the cracks
where you could fucking trip over the concrete. It wrecked my fucking head.
that and track and field.
Yeah, track and field was class as well.
Like, I remember me and Philip O'Connor, when track and field came out on the PlayStation 1, it was a weird, like, you used to like hit 2 buttons at once. So we started doing this thing where it was instead of like you're fast hitting the buttons like this, we'd do this, like right across the buttons like this.
Yeah.
And we used to have blisters and cut our skin from playing like the fucking like the 400-meter sprint and everything else, like absolutely mental.
But so some comments. Super Castlevania on SNES, much better. Yeah, class.
Yeah. I mean, the SNES picked up all these games we're mentioning, like got versions on the SNES that were like so much better.
James says, I had an Amstrad 464 black and green screen. Oh my God, is that the ones with the cassettes? Yes. I know a friend of mine had one of those where you actually had to
it was the black and screen.
You had to rewind it and everything.
I remember playing Rambo on that machine in my friend David Slattery's house. And dude, it was like, back then it was like, oh my God, look at the graphics, man. You know, it was insane. But does anyone in the comments, before we go any further, does anyone in the comments remember the Commodore 64? You remember Terminator 2 on the Commodore 64?
It came packed in with it, didn't it? It had Arnie on the box.
Yeah, it was.
I remember selling it in Smith's.
there was a few games that came with it. That were like, but it used to take so long to load fucking up, and you get to like halfway through the game, you would have to switch the tape over
And
and
put in
then load it up
instructions on
again.
the thing and everything. It
It
was,
took so long. It took so long to get anywhere in any game in a Commodore. Like,
and we complain about loading times now.
I fucking know, right?
My next one has to be one of them, right?
Well, I was gonna pick it next, but yeah, it's there. Like,
It's this one, Super Mario Brothers 3.
now that you picked that, because I have on it obviously as well Super Mario Brothers 1, the original, which technically isn't the original because there was one that came before it. It was like a crazy, weird, stupid game. It was really bad.
I was gonna pick Super Mario Brothers on the Game Boy, first one, which
But
was made
question
by
for you:
go on.
how did, and this is for the comments as well. I loved Super Mario Brothers 1. I loved Super Mario Brothers 3. How did you feel about Super Mario Brothers 2?
I fucking loved two. It was so different.
It was, yeah, it was so, I mean, it was never my favorite game. I think I appreciated the game years later when they re-released on Super Nintendo as like, like they had the
Mario
first
All
three
Stars.
on All Stars. I think when I went back and started really digging into it, then I think I appreciated the game a lot more then.
I
But
loved how you
man,
could like jump on them and then pick them up and then
yeah, it was, and I think it blew people's minds that it was so different. The fact that you could be Luigi, you could be Toad, you could be Peach.
it was originally meant to be something else, wasn't it?
I'm not sure. I mean, it possibly could have been, man. Maybe it wasn't supposed to be a Mario Brothers game at all. I
Yeah, I
mean,
think
like obviously it was supposed to be a Mario Brothers game, but not like like not because it's not in the same vein as the other two, like or the ones that came after it and before it.
yeah, I loved like the Yoshi like bosses and everything that spat eggs at you. And you had to land on the eggs and throw it back at them and stuff.
And it,
That
it, it,
was
it was such a weird, like, because when you played, I think this is what it was. I think you played Super Mario Brothers 1, like the original NES game,
mm,
and even man, I'll pick that game up now and play it. Like the original one, not even the like the All Stars version, they remastered it, like to me, but the original one, it's still fucking
still have
so
it on
good.
my Switch.
Yeah, it's still so fucking good. Um, but I think when number two came out, it was so different that I think that's what like people were like, I don't know if I like this.
Mm.
This is like a really weird hybrid fucking Mario game that it doesn't feel like the one I just played and enjoyed. But it was years later, and I know from talking to a few people, a lot of people that even I know had that feeling that it was like it was years later they came to appreciate it.
So Tubbs, I have two more. How many of
Yeah.
you? Do you want to do two more as well?
Well, I had 15, so I was 5 up on you, but I have two more here we can go with since we
Okay.
talked about
Give us
Mario
your
and
first
stuff.
one, so.
Metroid.
Ah, yes, Samus Aran.
Like Super Metroid is much better,
The
obviously.
original one was class as well, though.
Yeah, but this is still a fucking savage game. Like
And yeah, for years I did not know Samus Aran was female.
I did not know that either.
That was about the N64 when I caught onto that. I had the original Game Boy version when I was a little kid, and absolutely terrified me at the start.
Another game franchise that was actually very hard.
Mm. No, I wouldn't say it was as hard as Castlevania, no, but
Oh no, God,
it
Castlevania
was difficult.
like Castlevania was made to make you rage quit before you knew what rage quitting was. You know?
Oh God. But that's Metroid. Let's look at the comments for a sec before we go on to my next one. James says games on good sets, fun times, eh?
Oh yeah.
Damien says
James Pond.
Rodland Flood.
Limbo's
Turrican.
Quest. That's the fucking one. Good man, Damien.
Commodore 64 plus the Spectrum. Yeah. Rival to CPC and Spectrum. 2 had King Wart and Birdo as bosses, no Bowser. That's about Mario. So yeah, I love
Mario
Mario
2, yeah.
My second last choice, if I can see it, another game that kept me quiet.
Tetris.
On the Game Boy version, obviously.
Yeah, you see, I think think I didn't really come into this properly. I mean, I played it on like the NES and stuff, but I
This.
don't. But I don't think I actually played it like a beast until I got the Game Boy and played it
Yeah.
because it was
The
very much.
game.
Actually, wait, this didn't come out on the NES, did it?
No, not initially. It was a Game Boy release first.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, so maybe I had played it on the thing, or maybe it was the Game Boy. I'm not sure. Maybe a very
And I
kind
still
of.
have a version of Tetris on my Xbox One S or S1 or whatever the
But
hell
not
the new thing
not
is
beats the
called.
original though. The
No,
original there was just something. Do
no.
you know what it's like for me? It's like for
The
me.
game is
It's like
always going to be the same though with Tetris.
you can get
It's the
Snake on
wrapping.
phones now. Do you know the game Snake? But nothing beats playing Snake on the old Nokia 5210. You know, it's just
3210.
the original one of it. It's just it's just something about the original. You know.
So what's your next choice, Subs?
Um. Okay, now what have I here? I was gonna go with Mega Man because I was gonna say like, oh, Mega Man was a cool game, but I have to go with one of my favorite franchises from the earlier 80s and 90s, and it was Contra.
Contra. Nice.
That game drove me to fucking drink before I knew what drink was. That game was so fucking infuriating, but in the best possible way. You die, go back, and just keep fucking firing, keep shooting your fucking shit, you know.
And yeah, like that cover, that leaves nothing to the imagination who that is. Like, does it?
Yeah, it's
It's
fucking
Arnie.
crazy.
It's Arnie and Rambo. Like,
Yeah, they just couldn't get the two boys, you know.
like even there, like. But yeah, Contra, another bastard hard game from the 80s.
But like, I mean, there's loads of different ones there. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, fucking,
And
you pick your last one.
it was actually called Turrican over here, wasn't it? Super Turrican
Yeah,
or
they had a
something.
different name for it over here. Yeah,
My last game, and funnily enough, none of us have mentioned Space Invaders or Pac-Man. Well, I haven't.
Paperboy.
Paperboy.
See, I see. I when I was going through it, I remember I had Pac-Man on my list.
Did you?
I had it there. Yeah, it was on the list. I'll actually mention the ones that I had left over after this.
But yeah, that's the one I had, the 2600 Paperboy. What a game.
Paperboy was fucking unreal, man. I remember he was. But see, I was just kind of going to remember the ones I fucking used to play like religiously, and I remember I played this a lot because my friend had it. But I never actually physically owned it myself, if you get me.
Yeah.
Like there was games I mean, I would have played. It was the same even in the 90s. Like when I had the Super Nintendo, I didn't have a Mega Drive, but my brother's friend had one that would like loan it to us every now and again. So I got to play Mega Drive games, and he would take the SNES, and we'd swap.
I think when we do 90s games, I'm going to have about 30 each.
I think we better up the game to have 20 each on that one because there's a
Yeah.
lot of games, you know, that I fucking
List
love.
already forming in my head. But anyway,
Like,
what's your
as
last
much as
one?
we're 80s kids, I think my gaming days grew and like really became a thing in the 90s, you know. But yeah, I list off the last few here. Pac-Man, obviously. Dig Dug.
Oh, nice.
Remember that fucking thing?
Yeah.
That was fucking
That
Bubble
was so
Bobble.
cool. Bubble Bobble. So many good games that I didn't even realize were out in the 80s. Like,
Yeah. Crystal Castle.
I don't recognize that one though. What the fuck?
80s game.
Aha, yes, I do know what it's
Remember
that.
it?
Yeah.
What was the other DuckTales game I had down as well?
Woo!
Mega Man.
Dogs loves his DuckTales.
I fucking do. I'm a big DuckTales fan.
I had
Yeah,
that
because I
one on
had
the
it for the
Game Boy.
Game Boy and everything else. Yeah.
And Mega Man, there is a million Mega Man games.
Yeah, I mean, how many of them now was? But this was the original one. This was the first one.
Was that it?
Game footage. Or Mega Man on the SNES.
Here we
or
go.
on the NES, sorry.
1987.
Yeah. I mean, look at it there compared to like
It still
Mega
hasn't
Man.
changed much, though, has it?
I mean, I mean, it's still the 2D side scroller type game, but yeah, fucking 80s, man.
Some fucking crazy games.
I mean, we would have been like kids back in the 80s, like, but I still obviously remember and a lot of 80s games we probably didn't get our hands on until the early 90s
Yeah, definitely.
because we weren't obviously like I wasn't gaming hard at 5 years of age, you know what I mean? It was kind of when
So,
you kind of got like 7, maybe 8, 9 is when you started to hit in around that, like.
yeah, so that's 80s games for this week. So many.
Yeah.
Um,
But the 90s is
oh,
much more because, as I said, the 90s, as I said, I'm an 80s kid. I remember playing 80s games, but the 90s is where my gaming love really kicked in and
the
just went
way
up.
the way I would put it, Tubbs, is I had to make a list this week. I won't have to make a list next week.
Yeah, I'd just be able to pick them.
Like let's just for how many can we do in 10 seconds?
After
Mortal
well,
Kombat, Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter, Final Fight, Streets of Rage, Shinobi, Golden Axe, Sonic, Mario, Battletoads, Double Dragon. Okay, I'm done.
Ryan, you're spoiling it.
But that's not without thinking about. That's just without thinking.
Oh yeah. But yeah, off the top of your head,
Comics on.
like there's so many like fucking
Yeah,
for the Super Nintendo, like you know what I mean, fucking F-Zero and all those ones. Like
zombies ate my neighbors.
I fucking love
I
that
knew you.
game.
I knew I'd get that. But yeah. So let's have a look at comments. Damien says Mega Man 2. James McGurk says Ghosts and Goblins is a big favorite on holidays. That game makes some money for the hotel or campsites I was staying in.
Oh, one I
Kids were
fucking
mad
forgot.
for it, but you could be dead after 1 minute. James, I was staying in a campsite in Lahinch in County Clare in Limerick, and they had a pool table and about 10 arcade games and a table with Ghosts and Goblins built into it. And every night, that table was surrounded, and everybody was trying to play Ghosts and Goblins terribly badly. But
The game I remember pounding money into when I used to go to like Ballybunion and places like like the seaside resorts and stuff was WrestleFest.
oh, WrestleFest! How did I forget that?
My God, I mean, I didn't pick it because I couldn't remember if that was early 90s.
I'm gonna check. I'm gonna go to Google this now
Yeah,
because
Google that there because
WrestleFest was one of my favorite games as well.
even flick it up there on the screen to see if anyone remembers this game because this was the one that had like all the greats like Hogan, Warrior, Bossman, Um,
90s Tubbs.
yes, it was the 90s, but I was trying to remember like that's why I didn't pick it obviously because I was trying to think like
And on the 31st, Retromania, the sequel to WrestleFest, is going to be out on PS4.
okay. I mean, I might pick it up.
I'll show you now here. But yeah,
Yeah,
the
so
old one.
I loved the original, like this, yeah, that one right there.
Yeah.
Fucking, we had the Royal Rumble. Remember, you stand at the machine throwing fucking money into it.
Yeah, I had it on my emulation station as well at
Like
one point.
this was the one that had like Demolition, Texas Tornado, fucking
Mr. Perfect.
yeah. I mean, it had all the fucking greats like from the 80s and early 90s in it.
Did it have Texas Tornado?
No. Sorry, that's not it. That's Warrior.
That's Mr. Perfect and Warrior.
Yeah.
Hogan, DiBiase. But that's the sequel. Where is it? That's the one that's coming out next week. It's actually out at the moment on Xbox and Steam. But yeah, it looks fun.
See them and just I mean I love that we're getting like WWE 2K20 this year, or sorry, 2K22. We're also getting like there's loads of different wrestling games like coming out as well.
Yeah, I have no
There's,
interest in WWE games.
no, I mean, look, I mean, you know me, man. I will hope for the best that they've learned their lesson from 2K20 and give us a different game. Like it'll probably still be that simulation based style or whatever else, but I hope it because how 2K19, me and you had some battles in that game. And it was actually a fun game to play. It really was. I mean, they had got it right, which I know Ukes took off, but it was so weird that we got like a point where we're going, oh man, they're making these fun again. These are really good and entertaining. Like, you know what I mean? You can have good matches in these and really battle. And then 20 came out, and then you're like, going, what the fuck happened? Like, how did you get it so fucking wrong? Like, the fact that you had to take 2 years off to fix the fucking game.
So, yeah, just look through the comments there again.
Yeah.
Before we move on. A second now. So, Damien says, Brian, show Tubbs James Pond if you can. You know James Pond.
Fucking love James Pond.
Yeah. Undercover COD.
Yeah. Undercover COD. That was 90s though, wasn't it?
That was 90s on the Sega Mega Drive, I think.
Yes.
Might have been on the Master System actually earlier. So I'm not sure.
Yeah, it might have had a version there.
Ghosts and Goblins is classic. And James says Baron von Blubba was some operator. Damien then said Super WrestleMania with Big Boss on, I think, was best on the SNES.
Oh, the one on the SNES that I loved when it came out was the
Royal Rumble.
The Royal Rumble one.
Yeah.
But man, looking back at that game, like Christ, like trying to get the finishers to work, trying to get them to do the finishing moves was so fucking hard. But I even go back now playing them, like you try and play those wrestling games now and they're so basic, but they're the fun as fuck, you know what I mean? They're
actually
basic.
good crack, like so.
Yeah, they're great.
James Pond was 1990 as well.
They're just on the cusp of the 90s.
But yeah, Super WrestleMania, they were kind of similar though, those two games.
See, when they came out, if you remember, there was a SNES version, there was a Mega Drive version. I actually look it up there for me a second to see when the first because it would have been WWF at the time.
WWF 1992.
So when was the first WWF video game?
Oh, early 80s, I would say. It was a terrible one.
Yeah, so that was on the NES. And you had WrestleFest was the one that we grew up with. But yeah, so it was, I mean, because I think when they came out for the Mega Drive and Super
WWE WrestleMania on the NES was the very first. On 1989.
1989, all right. So yeah, so that was the first one. And then obviously it would have jumped to Super Nintendo and Mega Drive. But if you remember, I think it was
WrestleFest never came out for the home consoles though, sadly.
No, WrestleFest was arcade.
Yeah, arcade only. Yeah.
But I think, correct me if I'm wrong, I think it was WWF Wrestling. It wasn't WrestleMania, but I can't think of the first one. But they had a version on the SNES and a version on the Mega Drive, and they had slightly different rosters.
They did, yeah.
And a couple of different match types that were different to make it.
What I loved about those is you had versions of the entrance music and all on it.
Yeah.
Okay, Tubbs. So
yeah, man.
That's our video game section done for the week. So we get on to the main event, which is the finale of The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. So I have to ask you, Tubbs.
Yeah.
What did you think of the costume when Falcon turned up? If it's taking you this long, I know you're.
I'm just trying to think. Like I really dug it. Like I really did like it, but it's comic book accurate.
Oh yeah, it's 100% accurate.
Genuinely was comic book accurate. And it was just weird to see Anthony Mackie's head encased in that white section that came around his ears and things. I genuinely didn't think that they'd do that in the live action. I thought they were just going to kind of stick to the goggles section or like a mask or something. Yeah, it was comic book accurate, and I really dug it. I really did. I liked that they didn't make it like blue, the Captain America suit. They kept it to the comic, and they made it like more white than blue.
No, they made it his own.
Yeah, I really, and to be fair, I really dug him as Captain America. I thought he did a fucking great job. You know, he was very good in the suit. He was very, basically 6 episodes on, he found that confidence.
Mm.
You know.
When I saw it first, I was a little bit taken aback, to be honest. I didn't know what to think.
Yeah.
I thought it looked a bit silly, but as the episode went along, it definitely grew on me, and it was a lot better. Now, I will say that scene where he has Carly and he lands with the fucking wings open and the clothes around him when he comes down, that was very on the nose, kind of religiously iconography looking, wasn't it?
I mean, I'll be honest about it. There was a couple of sections of this episode that were very much like that. It was like I was kind of going, do you know what I mean? There was, I mean, we'll get into it more as we talk. Like, but yeah, there was a couple of moments that happened in this episode where I was kind of going, I was like, huh, could have done something else there, or maybe might not have. You went on like the speech. I really dug his speech, but okay. We're getting into spoilers here, man.
Yeah, we're going to be spoilers anyway.
You're an hour and a half with us. You're over an hour and a half with us now. You know we're going to spoil it. Okay. My biggest issue with this episode and the entire season was that it just mainly this episode was it felt so rushed in so many places. Like it was like they got to the 6th episode and they were like, oh, we need to close this off. We need to close this off. He needs to have his suit here. We need to do that. Oh yeah, oh, she needs to get here. They need to have a confrontation. Oh, we need to have the big kind of twist that we already kind of knew was happening because I called it 4 weeks ago. But we're gonna no, there was so much going on, but it not in plot. It seemed there was so much going on because they were like, we're on the last episode, we gotta tie everything up. That's what I mean. It just felt like it was so fucking weird because I dug the show. I've really enjoyed watching it and stuff. But has it been the most put together show I've watched? No. It has had its issues and it has had its kind of like its drawbacks. And I do really think that that's because they only had 6 episodes. You know?
I think I sort of agree with you.
Yeah, I mean,
I will say though,
it was probably wrong, but
no, there's no wrong answers. It's only an opinion. Like I would say to you, this is better. It's been better written than WandaVision, but there's been too much going on. If that makes sense.
I mean,
it should have been more focused, is what I'm trying to say. I do
agree with you to a point. I think, I mean, obviously with WandaVision, they designed it to be wacky and kind of weird, and you know, I mean, and there was a couple of, the Evan Peters line, Snooper's gonna snoop, that kind of like seemed very sitcom-y writing. Do you know what I mean? I mean, I know it was designed to be that way, but in this one, I mean,
before we go any further, the line in WandaVision that almost ruined the series for me, I think, was at the end when she says, "These people will never know what you sacrificed for them."
That's worse.
But you practically tortured them for however long that went on. That was the worst
it's kind
line.
of like your sacrifice was, you sacrificed them for selfishness.
Yeah,
you know what I mean in a lot of ways. Like, but it's the MCU, back so you know, America, and she's a hero, so you know we'll scratch all that back. But no, but for me with the writing, it wasn't even the writing in this. I had an issue with it was because I do really think that they had some fantastic moments of dialogue in this season, of the show. It seemed to be the pacing of things bothered me, and not even the writing, as in like the dialogue section. Certain sections of it bothered me, like the Zemo thing.
That bothered me last week, but it doesn't bother me now.
No, I mean, it's like, you know, he's locked up. No, that was one thing that did annoy me slightly. I was going, okay, last week didn't he get taken to Wakanda? Why is he on the ridge?
No, they said last week that they were taken into the raft.
Oh, to the raft. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. See, I must have missed that in my ears because I genuinely, like, when they took him, I was like, oh, he's going to Wakanda.
I think as well though, like, the way I was disappointed last week with how Zemo was taken off the table so quickly, that it makes sense now. After that ending, it makes sense why.
Okay, can I ask you something?
Go on.
Were you satisfied with the ending?
Yes.
Okay.
Because as much as you called Sharon Carter being the...
I did. I had a feeling.
You called her being the power breaker, and I called her getting a pardon.
Yeah, so we were kind of both right in the thing, but just the reason I asked that is because because you remember her and I mean, don't get me wrong, it's good character development, and now she's kind of gone a completely different way. But it seems so left field.
There's two theories I have on that.
Yeah.
So before I go on to that, this kind of ties into it. Damien asked a few questions. He said, "Again, I've spotted something in Falcon that nobody else seems to have noticed." But Damien, I noticed it. He said, "During the conference siege, look closely at the stun gas devices. Worth a few rewinds, and do you notice the design? Osborn." I spotted this too. They look
in
very...
the conference room.
The grenade, remember that they used the smoke bomb?
Oh, yeah.
It's very fucking pumpkin bomb.
Yeah.
And he said, or perhaps Hammer Tech. Well, Osborn and Hammer Tech is the same thing, so this does need a little more looking into, but for now, I am satisfied it's Osborn technology. Enough said. Now, that could be correct. That could be who she is calling at the end. And this would tie, like she said, oh, I'm going to have a lot more access to government secrets and weapons. So does Sharon Carter tie into Armor Wars going forward, which is going to have War Machine in it?
Yeah, but is Sharon Carter a villain now? Very much so, I think.
Or my second theory is Sharon Carter a Skrull?
See, I did hear that. I heard that online. I heard people chattering about that, but I was thinking, and then I heard people saying if that is a case, then that is really, really badly written. Like, why would you, like, that doesn't seem to be some, but look, at the same time, it makes sense if she was, because Secret War or Invasion's coming up, and I do expect a few characters that you think are characters you know to end up being Skrulls. But yeah, for me, the Sharon Carter thing, even though I called it a few episodes back as the power broker, it just seems like even though she turned on Carly and just killed her in cold blood, it seemed very out of character from the Sharon character we were introduced to.
Yeah, I agree.
You know
with
what I
that
mean? It genuinely felt like they were kind of going, like, oh, wouldn't it be cool if we took a character like, like, obviously she was exiled and she's probably bitter about that and things, but she firmly took a left wing swing, and just went like from being like a gradual change
then,
to
like
I'm a fucking complete villain now, like.
Yeah, but like if you watch back, episode 3 was in Madripoor. She was left for shit and left with nothing, like.
Oh, no, I get that. I mean, I totally get that. Like, I mean, and I do get that. Like, she's a hardened character now, and I mean, I like all that. But it was the last episode, and what I mean by that is, it's not that she became a bad character or she's like a bad guy now or anything like that. I'm totally okay with that because I think it's a cool swing in the arc. But what I mean by that is, I'm probably not explaining it correctly. Is I just feel in the last episode even though everyone kind of figured out she was the power broker, I just feel like that turn to like shoot her in cold blood and really kind of like take that step. It just felt like it was just. It's like they put the fucking pedal to the floor with it.
Well, I think it was.
It didn't, for me. It didn't feel like there was any progression into that character at all. That side of it.
Well, I think like it was to keep her fucking identity hidden. That's why she did it.
Oh yeah, I know there's reasonings to why it happened, but I mean personally, from watching the episode, that was what I mean is that it just feel like I was kind of going like, this just seems like it came out of nowhere. Like, I mean, even though I predicted like she was the power broker, like to see her be that cold and that heartless from
like
the Sharon
Carly had
Carter.
a chance to tell Sam as well, and she didn't.
Yeah, but Carly, I mean, it's weird. I mean, even Sam was like, Joe about her being like, like a misled teenager. I was like, motherfucker, no fucking teenager, right? She knew what the fuck she was doing. Do you know what I mean? And she was getting a kick out of it by the end. It just felt, as I said, like, remember we said it like last week, felt like they were really building stuff. And then this week, then it literally felt like they were trying to cram 100 things into one. And, like you and Wyatt Russell as the US agent, all of a sudden he's like, hey, I'm your buddy now, guys. He was like, do you know what I mean? There was a couple of things. And then at the end of it, then it was like, oh, you're in black now. You're the US agent, which is obviously he's going to be a bad guy moving forward.
I don't know, though.
Yeah, we'll see.
I do like that little bit with Val. Where
I do
like,
think he's going to end up in the Thunderbolts thing, as you were saying.
I like that bit with Val where she's like, oh, look, our friend Zemo did that thing. And she's like, well, I could have did it, but I didn't. Or did I?
I liked her character in it. I thought she was very good. But yeah, maybe I'm not explaining like my feelings on it very well. But
no, I know what you mean. All right,
for me, it being the season finale of the season, it or the last episode in the show. I don't even know what I'm saying.
The finale of the season finale.
But yeah, there was a lot of things about this episode where I was kind of going like, I'm digging it, I'm enjoying it.
It didn't feel very final.
Yes, it did. Now, I mean, look, I have a feeling like with WandaVision, and that didn't feel very final either. You knew that was progressing into something. This also did feel like it was progressing. Like Sam is now going to, move off into Captain America 4. You know what I mean? And there's going to be the big thing with him.
So, like, we've only 8 minutes left, so let's get through this quick. What did you think of the big speech at the end by Falcon?
I something. I genuinely have to admit it was one of my favorite scenes in the show or in the episode. I genuinely did enjoy it.
I really enjoyed it, but I also thought it was very unrealistic.
Oh yeah, massively.
But at the same time, it's straight out of the comics as well. Well, not straight out of the comics, but it's very comic booky, and this is a comic book show.
Sorry, my favorite scene outside of all the actiony scenes that I actually kind of enjoyed and stuff, was the scene where Sam brings, what's his name? Can you forget his name?
US agent?
No, not US agent. It's the God. What's his name? Keep forgetting every single.
Batroc.
The first Captain America guy. The old dude.
Oh, a lot. Isaiah Bradley.
Yeah, Isaiah Bradley. I've forgotten it every single episode. I apologize.
That was fantastic.
I thought when he brought him in, he said they'll never forget who you are now, and he just kind of gives him the hug. I thought it was a very heartfelt scene. I was like, and there wasn't a lot said in the scene, and it didn't need to have that. But yeah, I do agree with what you're saying about the thing with Sam. The speech was very, like
he hammed it up.
I can do it, you can do it, we can all do it. It was a very rocky moment. And you know what I mean? It's great dialogue and great kind of like your message. But it one thing I will say is I think it went on too long.
Yeah, like I did like parts of his speech, and even thinking about it in the real world, you would love to make some of these people in power feel powerless, so they know how some people feel. So I did relate to a lot of it. I really liked a lot of it, but it just came across, I don't know, it came across very, I don't know how to say it. It came across very, I don't know, hammy or something.
Yeah, I mean, I totally get where you're coming from there. Is like there's some sections of it kind of, you could say it came off a bit corny at times, and unrealistic as well. But it's a dude wearing a Captain America suit with that flies. You know what I mean? It's you kind of like you can kind of
we are
buy
watching
into
the
what
comic.
he's
We're not watching
you can buy
Martin
into what he's
Luther
saying
King
because
here,
it's a comic book movie. But I know I totally get what you're saying as well as it wasn't realistic because like these people are fucking, you know what I mean, like are going to keep doing what they're doing. But yeah, overall overall, I have enjoyed this show. Um, I have had my issues with it, and I don't mean that there's like, oh, this sucked and that sucked. It's just there was kind of things I was kind of going, oh shit, that just seems like they kind of just did that to kind of finish that section of the story. This just seems like this happened because they ran out of time. Do you know what I mean? You could kind of tell they were just filling in holes as they were going to try and pack it all together. Um, but yeah, I mean, I loved Bucky's arc in this. I think I preferred Bucky's arc more to Sam's.
Mm.
And I think
I,
I
I
said that
liked it.
last
I
week.
liked it at the end where he actually said, "Oh, well done, Cap," and tapped the shield on the back. I
Now,
really enjoyed that.
one thing I will say that kind of irked me a small bit. I was delighted he did it, but it kind of irked me a little bit was when he went to his friend, the old Asian guy,
Mm.
or the old man, and told him like I was the guy that killed your son.
No,
And
I
then you
liked
just
that.
and no, but I did like that. But what irked me was you just see him walking out the door, and they never really paid off the like. Did your man understand that he wasn't in control? Did he forgive him? Things like that. You know what I mean? I was kind of going. That's what I mean about it. It was like there was kind of like 10 more seconds. You could have completely fucking like
Mm.
closed that entire arc. But for me, I kind of basically the long and short of my ramblings about the Winter Soldier was I felt coming out of the last episode, I was left with more answers, or sorry, more
More
questions than
questions and
answers
answers.
going like leaving the show, where I'm kind of going like, okay, what? I mean, like, you could have paid off like,
I
and
do
not,
think that was sort of the intention here, though, as well.
yeah, I mean, like, but I mean, you know what I mean? Like this is the thing I would say. Like, I mean, I won't compare One Division and the Winter Soldier show to each other because they are two completely different beasts and how they were designed and how they were portrayed. But I will say one thing: when One Division ended, I knew where that was heading. I knew what was coming. You could hear the Doctor Strange music. She's opening the book. She's become the Scarlet Witch. You knew where that was going. You knew what was coming from
Mm.
just that one scene. Sharon Carter on a phone going, well, I just got my job back, and I'm going to be hanging around. We can go clubbing in
And
the city.
she spiked the lens as well.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? It was one of those things where like I was kind of going like it's at the very end, and it was a post credit sequence as well. So you could have had her like talking to the person on the phone in a room, and it could have been that
Mm.
cameo, like, oh, look who she's talking to. But that's just wishful thinking, and we'll find out in the future movie, I'm assuming. But yeah, overall, I did enjoy it. Um,
And before we go as well, like Captain America 4, as you mentioned there a while ago, is confirmed to be in development from the same director of episode 1 and episode 6.
I reckon this will continue into that.
So we'll chat more about that next week.
Yes.
On comments, Damien says Batroc not confirmed dead. No, he's definitely fucked. She shot him so he wouldn't reveal her identity. He's gone.
Yeah.
James McGurk, Armor Wars is a great comic book. I hope to do it justice. Yeah, man. I'm just saying it's just a pity Iron Man isn't around for it. Would be great to see the character on screen. Stingray. Yeah, definitely love to see him as well. Maybe with Namor in the future. And Damien says, how about for next week, Brian and Tubbs, we could share our wish list for a possible Serpent Society storyline and casting, considering news of Captain America 4. Well, yeah, I think like we're going to go through Captain America 4 and speculate our balls off on that one.
Yeah.
So for next week, we will have the finale of Invincible. We'll be back with our Natalie Portman and Brie Larsson moments of the week. I have a zinger for Natalie Portman this week.
Should we call them Brie Larsson and Natalie Portman moments, or should we just call them the hatred moment of the week?
No, I like there's something unique about it. Yeah, and whatever other casting news and stuff comes along. And of course, next week, the main event will be Mortal Kombat and our thoughts on that.
Yes.
So
because I do have one, obviously that I want to discuss with Brian next week, because I saw a post from a person, and another famous person commented, and then Brian under it was like, hell fucking no.
Oh, I
So
know what you're talking
So
about.
I really want to get into that with you and see why the hate for that.
Because
What we get in, that's for
that
another.
particular person, Tubbs, is not a real actor. That's why.
But
So basically, just quickly, 30
yeah, okay.
seconds to finish out. The Miz, who was a WWE wrestler, Mike Mizanin, and a reality TV show star, wants to be Johnny Cage, and he can get fucked for all I care, because he's not a proper actor.
Who commented back to his post and said that was a very interesting choice?
Ed fucking Boone, wouldn't it?
Ed Boone seems to like it. Now, look, I haven't seen movies or any of this shit, so I have no clue what's going on. We'll talk about it in detail next week. But if you look at the Johnny Cage character, all right?
Yes, Tubbs, but you don't hire a failed actor to play a failed actor.
But Johnny Cage is a failed actor. It makes perfect fucking sense. And The Miz has got a lot of charisma, man. I reckon he can hold it.
Acting.
Only problem is, as I reckon, The Miz would really, 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 really have to learn how to fight martial arts style if he was even to come close to even doing that. Wrestling's not going to not going to do the job on it.
And that's what we're going to do as well. Actually, next week is when we're finished talking about Mortal Kombat. We're going to speculate about the sequel and what characters we would like to see in it. And
okay, because I genuinely have not seen the movie yet. So I will be putting fresh eyes on that on Tuesday night, and we will fucking talk our asses off, bitches.
So, guys, hope you have a great week. Hope you enjoyed the show. Like the post as well. Drop your subscriptions if you're not subscribed already. If not, that's awesome. And we will see you next Sunday, of course. I will be dropping videos every day during the week as well. So be sure to check those out and drop all the likes, comments, and loves on that. And see you later, guys. Have a great week. Bye. Dunzo, Hunzo.
What?